Him out. 6 probes, 6 drones. Who's got the best micro? Go, 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 go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Best of 7 North America Showmatch series. This was originally going to be the last match of the day, but we actually managed to squeeze out a little bit of extra Canadian love due to my gaffe earlier. So we're going to have a bonus show match featuring Hengelis versus Moose Gills after this. We'll talk more about them later because the two players at hand, spotting in the lower left corner of the map and on the left side of these two webcams, it is IVD's Puck. And his opponent in the top left, but on the right side of these two webcams, ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Zerg player, JimRising. And I love the wubs in chat. Thank you guys. Every time we go to Ultra Team Stronghold, I don't know why I look forward to that, but yeah, we got some really good balance discussions going on right now. Just gonna throw my my opinion here into the ring. Anyways, Puck might be down at the moment, but it's not by much. I would remind you all it's a best of 7. For those who don't understand the context of that, that means it's first to 4 wins. Wow!
Game.
Wow! PvZ consulting tournament rules on player BM.
Game resumed.
Alright, so these guys are pretty nice, pretty fun guys. Again, that's why I love getting Puck involved with these JimRising. They're fun. They'll have a little bit of banter, and of course, nothing here in the middle. JimRising really looking for some trouble here. Anyways, you know, we've had some really weird. I'd say, like, even though this is only game 4, we still had a bit of an odd series. Again, a lot of this comes down to the fact that JimRising does the game a little bit differently than most. Puck was able to, not exactly capitalize on that in any means, because it wasn't the JimRising's build that got him caught off guard that game, but it was more like the right and the correct answer out of Puck, handling this properly and hitting at a timing before JimRising could get anything out of control. I mean, we even saw the Swarmhost attempt to come out, but despite that, he still managed to power through and push. Now, what's cool about JimRising, this is a map where he might have to actually play the more macro-oriented game. This is a map where Puck can defend 2 bases with a single force field, with a single warp in on hold position with a Zealot. I mean, there's no way JimRising can really get by and sneak through as easily as he has in the past. That being said, at the same token, it's not going to be easy for Puck to exactly 4-gate to win the game either. Granted, we saw, oh gosh, who was that? Ghost, whatever his name is. He's changed his name like 7 times. There's apparently 9 different players. But versus Violet, he actually went for like a 1-base 4-gate all-in on this map and actually made it work. So it's not out of the question by any means. So Puck's actually gone for the expansion. So he'll be playing this a little bit safer. He'll have his economy going pretty nicely. And, yeah, we'll see how he handles this. Again, his Stargate play has been playing off pretty well. I think it went a lot better last game than the previous time he tried it as well. Even on Habitation Station, while he did get some pretty decent kills, it didn't exactly cause devastating amounts of damage. And I think that last game was a much better show of how to utilize Phoenixes to an abusive degree. Not sure if he'll be able to pull it off quite to the same extent here in Ultra Team, but this is definitely a good map for Air, because you don't want to be spending a lot of time on these big open ground areas, looking for areas where Zerglings can get a surround, where JimRising will catch you off guard, and there's not a lot of areas to actually use force fields. Hey, look, who's those guys? Actually, we got this really nice new looking logo. I'm going to have to go get that implemented into GameHeart instead of our old one. Forge come down from Puck, but again, this isn't like anything that's gonna be too crazy. He is taking this really fast third though. Hold on, let's bring attention to this. I didn't even catch that. So an earlier third for a Protoss player, most of the time, means it's really exposed, it's really dangerous, and it's not like it's not worth the risk a lot of the time. But here in Ultra Team, by going for the earlier Nexus, not only can he Photon Overcharge it, but the Photon Overcharge I believe extends to the ramp as well. So you'll get a lot of coverage out of this, a lot of benefit from having a third down earlier. And again, in any other scenario, this is a big risk, but it's actually going to work out here. And for Jim, I gotta be honest, I kind of wish As stupid and terrible as this is, and this is not a good strategy, do not listen to Rifkin, kids. I almost wish he would have gone for like 5 hatcheries fast or something. Like if he knew Puck was voting to this, he may have gone for a little bit of greedier opening, but it's really hard to pay for greed. In fact, he did see the third, but again, he had already got the queen investment, the the gas was going. It was not something he could really effectively do. But still, off the 3 bases himself, he'll be able to match Puck for now. But as a Zerg player, the rule of thumb, you know, be a base above your opponent. Have the production to deal with your opponent. Deal a bit of damage. Get a bit harassed. Get abusive. And unfortunately, these Zerglings will not be that. They do get picked off by those sentries. Now, as far as following through with this game goes, we see 1-1 coming out for JimRising. This isn't a surprise. Guess what? It's Zerglings. It's JimRising. These are 2 units that you don't... this combination, this deadly Mexican Zergling force, is not something you typically see. But it's worked out so far in 2 games versus Puck. We'll see if it goes for a third. Puck is going to be going for not 1, but 2 Stargates this time as well. Ooh. 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 So here's what makes these 2 Stargates a little bit scary. On one hand, we've seen what Puck can do with a couple Phoenixes. This means he's going to have a lot available to him. There's +1 weapons, by the way. There's a lot of sentries warped in. He could even go for gateway aggression to pair with this and still get reasonable success just due to the way this works. If he pairs up Void Rays, is more rare, but with 3 base of economy this early, you can double produce Void Rays pretty comfortably. If he does that, and he hits at a timing before Hydralisks are out, JimRising could very well be screwed. But again, these are all speculations, and we'll see what Puck ends up actually doing with this. Phoenix is going to come out first, and if I had to guess, he'll probably try and hide these. If you go for too many Phoenix and your opponent scouts it, they'll be able to prepare a little bit better. But if you kind of tour de force or Tour de France, no, it's a race. What am I saying here? Sorry, guys. I've been casting since about like 9 a.m. this morning. We did the Go for Circuit monthly finals. My brain's a little fried at this point. But if you show this force that is unseen, and suddenly it's like surprise 13 Phoenix, there's certainly not going to be much that can deal with that. The Spore Crawlers won't be down. The Hydralisks won't be numerous enough. And these Lings are going to try and get into the base. However, not going to happen. Sentries on Hold's position. Even a Force Field catches one of the Lings, and well, that cannon going to drive these back. But up here to the top right, he's taking the base finally. A 4th on the way. If there's one thing that actually deals well with Phoenix, it's taking more buildings, taking more bases, getting things that can't be graviton beamed into the air. And did he see this? Oh, he did. With the, I guess, Suicidal Overlord or Changeling or something. Oh, with the Changeling. Okay. He saw the double Stargate production. So we got 2 Spore Crawlers coming down every base right now, trying to make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard by this. Even the 4th base will probably need some as well to transfer over. But Hydra's Den, I don't like the positioning on this. This is really exposed. Quite frankly, like I think Puck could tear that down really easily. But this is a large Phoenix count, and he's still pumping 2 at a time with air upgrades and plasma shields. So I really don't think he's going to be looking to devote too much to the ground forces. Again, with those +1 weapons on the Zealots, they'll be able to fight pretty nicely, but not get that free 2-shot, not get that free easy mode kill on Zerglings that you would normally see as long as Jim keeps up his own upgrades. But still looking for an opening to get in here. You know, it was actually kind of funny last game too, I forgot. Puck did manage to supply block JimRising by killing a lot of Overlords. Doesn't get a lot for this, but the Queen gets a little exposed. She gets a little too uppity. Puck decides to shut her down. But a macro hatchery is down. A 5th base, well, technically a 5th hatchery, but a 4th base is up. And while both the Spire Infestation Pit are coming down, if there's one way you want to shut down air units, guys, it's going to be with a fungal growth. There's seriously nothing in this game that deals with air better than fungal growth, whether it's Terran, Zerg, or Protoss. The problem is, fungals aren't the easy mode hit they once were, and they don't do a lot of damage, so you need quite a few of them. But Phoenixes are pretty notorious for clumping up. And some Lings running across the map. Unfortunately, still not able to get too much done. There's Zealots, there's Void Rays, there's a cannon. And Puck's actually taking a hidden base. Puck is pulling out all the stops this game. So you know what, Jim? I gave you 2 free wins. It's not going to happen again. So by going for this ninja base, it's very unlikely Jim scouts this. Mostly because, well, you're not going to be focused on that. You're going to be focused on the Phoenix. You're going to be focused on everything in the middle of the map. Jim might send 1 Zergling to each corner of the map, as people often do, usually around the 15 or 20 minute mark. But yeah, see what happens. Oh, guys, Swefimo, when I mentioned Swefimo earlier, nothing to take away from him. He requested a show match with San a little while back. He's the one I haven't been able to fulfill a request for yet. Today was brought to you thanks to Ikaij, who sponsored fully and entirely the No Regrets show match. And of course, No Regret himself for playing, because if he didn't agree to this, then we wouldn't have found these other players to mix a match and get involved. So I do love Swefimo, and I don't want to take any thunder away from him. He didn't put on any of the matches today, though, so... Yeah, this sounds kind of weird now. I'm just gonna back away from it because it's just almost, I don't know. Way to go, Sefimo. Thanks for not donating today, you douche. Anyways, Phoenix is dunking back in here for a couple more kills. There are spore crawlers everywhere, though, and he's going to see that there are corruptors coming out. So, again, this composition is not easy to deal with. Mutalisk, corruptor, Mutalisk, whichever order in which you want to perform it doesn't really matter because you get the same end result, where even 3 Stargates, even a Phoenix, even Indian Pulse Crystals don't exactly measure up easy mode versus this. And bottom right was revealed, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. Zergling did manage to, like I said, he's checking every base on the map, and this is kind of tactics you have to perform. Play on this map enough times, you kind of realize people do prefer to take ninja bases on this map. But even with this massive Zergling attack, I don't necessarily know he can take this down. There are DTs warping in, and no Overseer to deal with this, so Puck will hold on to the base for the time being. And let's be honest, if JimRising devotes too much to the lower right, that'll open a door for Puck to go into the natural base, to the third base, to just walk forward and try and storm in. Now, there are a lot of Corruptors here, but there's also a lot of Void Rays. There's a lot of Zealots on the ground, and again, more Phoenix to buffer for this. But he's going to take this fight without Graviton beaming any. I feel a little bit unnecessarily. But Jim says, screw the bottom right, I'm going to go for the third. There's some cannons coming down, and 2 of them for now are not going to be enough. These 3 cannons building might not even complete, but DT's warped in once again for Puck, and he's going to push through the middle of the map. The Corruptors come here a little bit needlessly, and while this base is going to die, it doesn't really matter. Because right now Puck's forces on the other side of the map, can they be stopped? He's got upgrades, he's got army supply, he's got so many freaking Zealots, and while Mutalisk just popped, again, I remind you all, we still have Phoenixes in place, 6 of them, with these Void Rays look very scary and somewhat nearly unstoppable. But the Void Rays have yet to prismatically align. If they do, everything here is going to die a little bit faster. I think he's intentionally saving this for when the Corruptors come, but the Corruptors are quite a bit ways away. And the Mutalisk composition is, well, quite frankly, the count is too low. He did deal with the Zealots, worth noting, but he's still got all these Phoenix and the Void Rays to worry about. And the Corruptors and the Mutalisks, he's trying to set this up so they all hit at the same time. I like this move out of Jim. But Puck, in a desperate scenario, can always try and recall. He's going to, oh man, he can prismatically align, and no, he's just going to go straight for the recall. So I believe that Void Ray did get out of there alive. Third base still stands, albeit there's almost no probes on it, sadly. Puck did lose quite a few while this was going on, but he tore down a base of JimRising. So, not for naught, that attack was decent. Whether it was worth an even trade or not has yet remains to be seen. This base down here in the bottom right is still not exactly safe. The Mutalisks are going to come in and kill this. But again, if Puck was moving out for attack 2 right now, he would have no issue. He'd be able to get in there, retake down that third, maybe go for that fourth, and recall once again if he knew this was happening. But the problem is he's been playing somewhat blind. An observer in the middle map, I think, caught the tail end of a couple of those Corruptors, so now he's aware that things are in the bottom right, but he can't exactly recall and he can't deal with this. Lings are going to try and get in, but a good warping on the DT actually doesn't stop this. What? What? DTs are not fat enough to block, apparently. I didn't know that. But the cannons will hold this, so Puck is in no real grave danger. Even a DT's been warping for safety's sake. But what's nice about these Dark Templar guys, he can start making Archons off the back end of this too. If there's something that's great at dealing with Zerg in general, Archons are that answer. They deal bonus damage versus everything, plus splash. Meanwhile, looks like the Mutal Corruptor count has grown quite a bit, coming down here to the natural base. There's a hell of a lot of cannons here, though. What? This isn't 1 or 2. This is a lot. And Overcharge even gets popped off, too. Retreats over to the assimilator there for safety's sake. That's a hell of a lot of Phoenix, though, guys. From the 6 that there were earlier, now up to 17. Dark Templar tear down one of the new hatcheries. And JimRising, well, he's still effectively on 4 bases, so he's not in any real danger yet. But the mine's starting to mine out. The natural's getting there. And of course, this third is just been rebuilt, so it's actually still got a lot of mineral counts in it. That being said, I almost fear Puck's Phoenix count is too much to deal with. Any Impulse Crystals is coming up. Level 2 weapon upgrades will be finished here very shortly. And these sneaky ninja DTs, oh, 2 of them get caught, but 1 survives. So he could go back for some probe kills later. Wait. What? Oh god. There's like so many probes on this assimilator. Oh, did he fix the one down here too? Okay, he fixed the one over here. So this is one of the drawbacks. Puck retreating them stacks them up, but I guess apparently it didn't fix that either. Middle of the map, we got, again, the engagement being baited out. There's so many Corruptors, but I feel like the Phoenix count is actually big enough to deal with this, but not before the base goes down. Trying to find a way to engage. He pushes forward with the Void Rays, so those are going to be there to protect against the Corruptors, but the Phoenix, they're going to have to tussle on this side of the map, and Phoenixes, while they do outrange both Corruptors and Mutalisks with those Annual Pulse Crystal upgrades, it's not by much, so he's got to be very careful with the way he handles this. But he will try and snipe off one of the bases. Let's not forget the Colossus will kill any amount of Lings that JimRising is most likely to make. The unit count right now, 23 Mutalisks, 20 Corruptors. I don't know, guys. If the Phoenixes fight with this army, I think Puck will be okay. There is no recall option this time, but the Corruptors not here and a little bit late to the party. The Mutalisks get focused down by the Stalkers and by the Archon. Will that matter, though? The Phoenixes are, the Phoenixes are really late to the party, Jesus. But he gets here just in the nick of time to pick off all of the Mutalisks. Now with only Corruptors to deal with, he should be able to fight forward. JimRising has just lost his air army. 19 more Corruptors are being made right now. But guys, who cares about the Corruptors? They'll kill the 2 Colossus. These 3, 4, 5, was it, Stalkers will end the game. GG's actually going to be called. Puck wins it. Now tied up 2-2. We find ourselves going into game number 5.